Hi, my name's Stephen Giles. I was born and raised in the Caramut area. I moved away when I was 17 to go and study at Moyne University. I'm now a partner in one of Australia's major law firms. But I come back for the last 12 years or so to interact with the local community and see my mum and play football for Caramut. Yeah, well, I guess, I stayed a bit in touch with what was going on through my parents who were living on the farm out the road at the stage. But when Dad died, Dad's funeral was on the Friday, and Dad was heavily involved in the football club. He was a life member, as was my grandfather, and so and patron of the club. So, that was something that I felt I needed to take over. So, I came home to the funeral, and it was a great day, really, and the football club were all involved. And so I'd organised to see whether my two brothers and we'd never played in the same side together, because my younger brother's sort of 10 years younger. So we did, and it was a great day the next day. And so, of course, the question was asked, are you coming back next week? So I didn't want to just blow in and blow out of the town, plus it was good fun, and so I started coming back. This is the old golf course location, and as kids we used to come here and climb the trees and wait while our parents were playing golf and having a few beers afterwards. But what's interesting, I think, with this is that it's now no longer a golf course because there's not enough people, but it's now the site of the sprint racing carnival. So, the sprint racing carnival is a good example, I think, of how you can work collaboratively. There was some talk around town about, how the town was struggling a little bit and how do we keep people here and so forth. And I suggested, well, look, tourism and creating maybe a couple of events a year might be something that could be done. And one of the young blokes came to me, a few months later and said, oh, look, we've been approached by the sprint racing carnival. They want to know if there's anywhere in Caramut that they can run an event. And I said, well, do you realise near the golf course, that used to be an old race course, but being reasonably new to the district, he had no idea that it used to be a race course. So, of course, they went down and found that underneath all the tussocks and the grass, there was a sort of perfect foundation for a 400-metre racetrack. So that's now been built as the quarter horse racing thing. And so, I helped out a little bit with the grant from the council and maybe how it could be structured and things like that. But the people who have really made it work have been the people of the local community. But the beauty about it is it's such a great venue. It's a sort of a natural amphitheatre. There's shade, there's water, there's facilities, there's a golf clubhouse up here. So it's just a great use of an old facility. And it represents, I guess, the value of just continuing to look forward and use things for different purposes. Country towns are very vulnerable, and I got a phone call one day to say, look, just letting you know, because you're the patron of the football club now, that we're going to shut the club down. And I said, oh, what happened? And they said, oh, look, we had a coach lined up and he was going to bring a few players, and he's not coming anymore, so we're just not going to be able to field two teams. And I said, well, look, we can't do that, so let's figure out sort of other ways. And we resolved to go to the league and approach the league, and I think the locals were a little bit sceptical, but I was pretty confident that having had some dealings with the AFL more broadly, that they were really looking to encourage country football and not see clubs fold. And so, yes, the league approved us to play for 1 year with just a senior side. That was a hard year for me personally at that age, playing, but I think also we got flogged every week, but just the message of and I brought one or two guys up with me, of just us being prepared to come up as well, was just useful in the context of getting it going. And of course now, last year we had both sides in the finals, so it's been great. Yes, I remember my first game for Caramut. I would have been about 8, and it's funny because yesterday we played the same team, Penshurst, and football boots in those days, I didn't have any football boots, and Dad, felt that I wasn't, we couldn't afford it, and I didn't deserve a pair of football boots at that stage. So I had some school boots, and he just went out and nailed some stops into them. And I remember playing at Penshurst, and I didn't have any gear because I went to school at Dunkeld, so I didn't even have a Caramut football jumper. And so I borrowed the jumper of one of the one of the young kids, his dad had been playing. It was this old, heavy Hessian jumper that itched like crazy, and its arms came down to about here. So I was 19th man and came on at half-time in the under-13s at age 8. And I remember running out onto the ground with these boots, and they didn't work too well, but didn't really matter. And I remember getting 2 kicks that day, both of which knocked me over. They were chest marks, and the ball knocked me over, and I got to my feet and kicked it probably about 5 yards down. And I remember running around for this half and coming off the ground thinking, gee, it was a dry day, but my socks feel a bit wet. And of course I took my boots off, and the nails hadn't quite been turned over on the last, and so of course I thought I was going to die, but there was blood in both of my shoes, and at 8 years of age you can imagine how traumatic that experience was. But times we've moved on, and now I've got my own footy boots these days. I always regard this as my community, but I suppose it's got to be a reciprocal thing, so you've got to come back and feel that you're part of the community, and I have felt that. As soon as I came back, I felt that people were welcoming and did see me as part of the community. And I think I've been, able to help out, and I've got a lot of enjoyment out of it. Plus I can still get a kick out here, and they're prepared to give me a game. So.